And we are live. Live. Hey guys, welcome to the Superherocuts podcast where we talk things Marvel, DC, and Star Wars. It's your boy Stevie Hayes, joined by Comic Cuts. How are you doing today, my brother?
Let's get it. How you doing?
Oh my gosh, I'm doing good, bro. I'm ready. I am ready to record today. I had a work from home day because it snowed, so
Me too.
pretty happy about that. So all right, let's get into it. So today news came out, and I was one of the first people to actually post it on the social. So, but basically, news came out. Let me pull up my notes actually because I wrote some notes on this. Give me 1 second. Hold on. I got it on my phone. Forgot. So there was at Star Wars Celebration, right, which is basically Star Wars' Comic-Con. They announced that they are doing a REY movie, okay? And basically, this movie is basically going to be built around the idea that, after the Rise of Skywalker, REY is building the new Jedi Order. And so there was a big rumor that was going around today on the social medias, basically saying that the REY movie is what is indefinitely delayed, okay? And a lot of people were either angry or sad. Most people were happy because a lot of fans didn't like REY, or at least the way she was written as a character. A lot of people weren't fans of her at all. And then some people were also saying, like this shows even more that Mando is the road that they're going to go. And then some people were kind of upset about it because they were like, we like REY as a character. We wanted to see more REY, etc., etc. And so this was going crazy for a little bit, but then a news source / company called IO9, they actually debunked this rumor. Okay, and so I want to talk about that really fast. So this is where I stand personally with the whole rumor game. Until Lucasfilm says it themselves, it's all rumored. It's all rumor based. Okay. Obviously, IO9 and the other guy, I forget his name. Apparently, they have deep connections with Lucasfilm already, but we don't know whether if it's confirmed or not. But yeah. So that was the news for the day. So my personal opinion on this, right now, you guys got to remember, this is coming from a person that likes REY. Okay, I think REY had I think REY had the potential to be a really good character. I think REY had the potential to be a character that fans would have liked. And I do think that the writing of REY was terrible. I think the concepts that they created of REY was terrible. Like when The Force Awakens happened, right? I loved the mystery of we do not know REY's genealogy. We don't know where REY comes from. And making her related to Palpatine kind of wasn't really my vibe. I'm not gonna lie. I really didn't like that at all. And so, I just wasn't really a big fan on the way that, she was shown or portrayed and the way that she was used. And I think that Daisy Ridley is not a bad actress. She was just badly used in Star Wars. So now, if you guys remember, right, there was a guy named David Lindelof, and he was working on this REY movie. And the original story for the REY movie was supposed to be that Daisy Ridley was not going to be in this, but this was going to be about a older version of REY, played by, I think her name is Helen Mirren. I think that's her name. But she was supposed to play the older version of REY. And I did like that idea more than what we have now. But now, obviously they got the announcement that Daisy Ridley's back. And there were more comments out today that that the movie isn't halted, and that they are waiting. They said that Lucasfilm is waiting on a script from I think his name is Stephen Knight. So yeah, that's kind of all that's going on now. As I said, me personally, I just think that why would you go with a REY movie? If I'm a business and the majority of my fans don't like it, why would I do it? And I know I'm talking along, but let me just get this off real quick. I understand the box numbers might make you want to have that decision to release REY, but and me and Comic Cuts talk about this all the time. This is not 2018 anymore. This is not 2017 anymore. This is not 2016 anymore. You're not going to be able to put out any type of project and just make $1 billion. Okay, that's not the way it works anymore. And so I do think that this movie could potentially suffer really hard in the box office. And I know when you take a long amount of time to add to a story, nowadays people don't care. You know, think about Aquaman. Aquaman 2 isn't a bad movie, but
Took words out
people
of my
don't
mouth.
care. People don't care about it because they took too long to remake it. So that's kind of where I'm at. Floor is yours, my brother.
Before I get in, let's add to that list. Black Widow would have, people don't even consider it a good movie because it came out at the wrong time. And, we've discussed this at length with Black Widow. We both like Black Widow a lot, but to the main topic here, let's get into it. Rey, personally, I don't know if I didn't like the character or I just didn't like the movies. And that's my point. Either way, like the movies didn't work. And to try it again is the definition of insanity. We don't want the same thing. It didn't work. And the question remains, is Rey a bad character? Did Star Wars mismanage her poorly? And then people didn't like Rey because they did such a horrible job? Or were the movies trash and was Rey just not a good character? We don't know, and I don't want to see Star Wars, isolating the Rey variable and doing another experiment again. I want something completely new. And, we've had a lot of success with The Mandalorian. The Mandalorian's been a great show. Everyone loves Mandalorian. The Mandalorian movie is going to come out. It's going to be great. There's a lot of characters in the Mandalorian, world in Star Wars that they could make spin-offs of and everything. But I really would like to see a new trilogy from Star Wars with new characters. I almost think they need to get rid of the Skywalkers, Palpatine, and, just completely put in new characters everywhere. That's the one variable that they could take from Mandalorian, even though they're not all new characters, because a lot of them came from the Clone Wars shows, but at least characters that not all fans are so familiar with. And I think that's the way they need to go. Listen, if this rumor is true, which I hope it is, it's a great sign that Star Wars, senior management and executives are listening to the fans, because this thing was announced like a week ago and fans were not happy. And now they're calling an audible that quickly. It's a good sign that Star Wars is listening to the fans. And, like Stevie said, it's not the late 2010s heyday anymore, okay? Our economy is not great. People are not just paying money to go to the movies for the sake of it anymore, especially when you consider the window of time from the movies releasing in theaters to, being able to rent at home or ultimately ending up on a streamer. It's very short. The Flash, when The Flash came out, it didn't do so well in theaters. And then the second it went up on, Apple TV to rent, it was in like the top 10, I think number 1 immediately. So people are waiting for movies to come out to watch them at home. And I think it's not, by the way, I don't only think that's just because of money. I think people are more comfortable watching movies at home. I know I am. I'm a huge nerd about my TV setup. Stevie hears me talk about it all the time. I love watching movies at home. If I have an opportunity to watch a movie first at home without waiting to do it, I jump on it immediately because, I like the experience that I built for myself here. And, listen, with Star Wars belongs in movie theaters. We all know that. It's the one franchise of the 3 that we talk on here that was born in the movie theaters. We talk about Star Wars, DC, and Marvel. Obviously, the other 2 were born in comic books, which is great, but that's not the case with Star Wars. And having said that, Mandalorian being born on Disney Plus worked, and now they're bringing it back to the movie theaters. That is like an awesome success story. You know, I think that they need new characters or characters that not everyone's familiar with. And unfortunately, they botched that Palpatine tie-in at the end of episode 9, and that was brutal. And it just makes me think, like, you know, also, by the way, speaking of time intervals, where's the sequel for Rogue One? Rogue One was awesome. Everyone loved Rogue One. And, you know, what's going on there?
Well, that was kind of a one-off film because I mean, there's nothing really much you can do after that with that team because everyone died.
Right.
You know?
That is true. That is true.
And to me, I think that Andor kind of plays that, I guess, second like project to it, you know. And they are filming. I'm pretty sure they're filming Andor now, even though I don't really like the show. But
you know, it's a bit of a slow burn, but I do like it. I just, but I also think they would have been better off making that a movie.
Yeah, what gets me is I like the fantasy of Star Wars. So like Ahsoka is like that's my junk. Like that's my spot. You know, I love learning about the Force and stuff like that. But you know, a lot of fans like Andor that don't want to see all that. So you know, it makes sense.
You know about Ahsoka, because I remember I wasn't so into it at first, and you hyped it up to me. And that episode with Ahsoka, Balin, and the World of Worlds, like that World of Worlds scene made me feel like I was watching the equivalent to the Infinity Stones in Infinity War within Star Wars.
Like, it gave you that vibe, right?
Yeah, and that's the kind of lore that we need more of.
Yeah, because it makes you feel like it's like you're witnessing something greater, I guess, you know what I mean? And you know, that's kind of where I like. And fun fact, the world between worlds in Star Wars is based on the World of Worlds, or the World of Worlds in Chronicles of Narnia. So like Chronicles of Narnia, yeah, so but the way that Narnia has it set up is it's kind of set up as through like trees. And so basically you go to a land similar to the world between worlds and the Chronicles of Narnia, but instead of portals, it's ponds. And so it's like small ponds everywhere. And if you go through one, then you'll go into like another timeline or Earth or something like that. So
right.
So it's just shout out to Dave Filoni for you know paying homage to Narnia. But yeah, so
I never watched
yeah,
it.
like,
That's pretty cool.
They're actually dropping a show on Netflix soon, so I think you should tune in when it drops. I read all the books. I think it's awesome. But yeah, like I think the lore is where they need to go, and I think they have something special with the Mandalorian stuff. I would kind of stick in that, and you know, and I think you could even branch off with some Luke Skywalker stuff, and I think you can stay in Star Wars for a while. And I think that the next move for them is to redo all of the old movies.
Oh, that would be awesome. You know, it's funny you say that because so the rumor is for the next couple of James Bond movies that they're going back to the 1950s and they're going to take place in the 50s, which, you know, the Daniel Craig era, you know, really changed from the Pierce Brosnan era, because at the thing that Pierce Brosnan's eras ended on with all the gadgets and being too like they were over the top with gadgets. It became a sci-fi disaster, and that's not what James Bond is. And now they're going back to the 50s, and it makes me think that they're going to remake the original Bond movies that were, you know, direct from Ian Fleming. And I really hope that's the case, you know. And if Star Wars were to do that around the same time James Bond's doing that, I think that would be a big rip off of a Band-Aid that Hollywood needs, because we have come so far in modern technology that, you know, I want to see native 4K, you know, Dolby Atmos and all that stuff, you know, on a modern movie. And I think a lot of fans would be divided over it. And then I think once the time these movies come out, I think people would be like, you know what? This was awesome. Let's get more of that.
Yeah, because obviously it's all about how they do it. You know, we don't want none of the make no changes. But you know, like I think that like the reality is these old movies aren't going to hold forever. I don't even think the old ones hold now. Just being real.
I agree.
Yeah, like Empire Strikes Back is great. Like it's plays an instrumental role in my life as a fan, but it doesn't hold like it used to. You know, so I think redoing it and starting with the Phantom Menace and ending that way, and maybe this might give you the chance to redo the sequels too. Just saying. So,
Those take some creative liberty.
Or maybe, bro, even instead of continuing with the sequels, you go right into the Mandoverse and focus on Luke Skywalker. Because I am not opposed to doing that Mando, Grogu, Ahsoka, Luke Skywalker. I'm cool with the next 10 to 20 to 10 years being about those four. Because I do think that there's a lot that you can do with Luke Skywalker, and I would like Luke Skywalker to get recasted. I do think Sebastian Stan would be great as Luke Skywalker. Just saying, because because Marvel isn't using him as the freaking Winter Soldier anyway. So I think having somebody like a Sebastian Stan take that role, I think fans would understand, and I think it would bring like a new life to the Star Wars brand and franchise. I mean, look at James Gunn. He's doing it. James Gunn is literally doing the same thing. He's remaking Superman with a new guy that is younger.
But that's very different. That's very different.
Well, obviously it is different as in the movie, but I'm just saying how like he is still using the same character and like remaking something. Like there is strength in remaking a film. Like if James Gunn kept Henry Cavill, there would be a lot of fans wouldn't be happy. And it honestly wouldn't do the studio well in the future.
Because as much as I can't stand talking about them anymore, the fans that can't stand James Gunn and they all say they want Henry Cavill back as Superman. If James Gunn brought Henry Cavill back as Superman, they would be pissed that Henry Cavill is working with James Gunn.
Probably a lot of people. The thing is, a lot of people didn't like Cavill Superman, which is funny how everyone now loves Cavill. But anyways,
that's very true.
Yeah, like when Cavill was Superman, he was not favorited. I don't think he's the best. I do not think he's the best live action Superman. Him and Ben Affleck are the same to me. They look the best of the part, but they don't act the part very well.
Yeah,
Christopher Reeve is more of a Superman than Henry Cavill.
I think Tyler Hoechlin is great.
I don't think he's the best though.
Here's the thing about the best Superman that's really tough is that none of them really do Superman justice. None of them. Tyler Hoechlin is like a family man Superman. So that's not your typical Superman, number one. Henry Cavill's Superman was like hated, which is not Superman. Richard Donner, Christopher Reeve Superman is like the corniest, cheesiest Superman. So I don't think we ever really had a live action Superman that did Superman justice. Yeah,
I think Donner's was the closest though, in my opinion, to a comic book Superman.
In so long, so it's hard for me to say.
Yeah,
but
because Brandon Routh had the chance to be the best Superman. I thought he was going to be the best when Superman Superman Returns dropped. I thought he was going to be like the guy to take the Superman role, but obviously it didn't land the best. But yeah. So all right, now after this Star Wars news, we'll get into some Thor stuff. So a Star Wars What If series is in the works. I think this is a W for Star Wars. Star Wars has been balling in the animated space. The last animated Star Wars project we got was called Tales of the Jedi, which was very popular. It did some stories about Count Dooku, stuff like that. How he left the order, all that stuff. I think this is super dope because you could do stories like, what if Anakin killed Obi-Wan, or or what if Luke Skywalker turned to the dark side? There's a lot of fun things that you can do. Or what if Ahsoka fought like Anakin instead of Obi-Wan. I mean, there's so many stories that you can do with this. So I'm really excited to see this one. How do you feel about doing this in the animation form?
This is like a fire idea. I mean, if there's one franchise that a what if series would be super crazy with other than the MCU, it is Star Wars.
I agree.
Because
and I can't.
It has to do with the lore. You know, like if you have good lore, what if is a fire concept. And you know, I would say DC would be a fire what if, but they just don't have the uh, library of movies or live action entertainment to do it with yet. But Star Wars, this listen, they should knock it out of the park. We all know that that's a big if.
People have Star Wars channels of just fan fictions, like, you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
people literally make money writing, and I watched them, so I'm a part of the problem. But like, people make fan fictions for a living, so I mean, Star Wars is probably more what if than
No.
Marvel. So yeah, and it is wild because if someone like me and Comic Cuts were in the power to run Lucasfilm, this would be we will be rolling in dough, because it is not hard. It is probably hard to obviously get all your ducks in a row with the finances and stuff, but from a creative standpoint, this should not be hard. I'm just saying, we would literally have 1,000 like, I could write down 1,000 ideas right now of what we could do with content. Just saying. All right. So now, next topic, we're gonna be talking about some Thor 5 rumors. Okay, so apparently this is what I've heard, and the Cosmic Wonder also talked about this. Sub to his channel. I love him. He's awesome. So what was talked about in regards to rumors, and this is from the Cosmic Circus. Alex Perez. He's been really on point with a lot of rumors lately. So the rumors is that there is going to be some ties to Valhalla. Okay, and a lot of people think that this is going to tie into the multiverse, and that we are going to get that we are going to get a Rune King Thor, and that we are possibly going to see him and Loki reconnect together. Okay, but the main thing that was touched on was the idea that Valhalla exists outside of time and space, and that we might see a possible Kang the Conqueror or some multiversal being doing something in Valhalla, and Thor, and basically, to make a long story short, there's this Thor comic where basically like Thor dies, and he kind of like sacrifices himself for his people, and he becomes a cosmic entity. A lot of people think that that they're going to draw from that story of Thor, kind of like him restoring Asgard to what it was when we saw it in Thor 1. But also driving some multiversal stuff, and him meeting with Loki again, and stuff of that nature. How do those rumors sound to you?
Sound awesome. Listen, I don't want Thor to die. I think the MCU can't really afford to lose good characters, but it kind of feels like they already did lose Thor due to the garbage fire of Thor Love and Thunder. But yeah, Thor, I think it would be really cool to see Thor restore Asgard. Like, that was one of the things I hated about Love and Thunder. Like, New Asgard was so corny to me, and it just looked like, I didn't even think it looked visually appealing, and I hated it. I hated everything about it. And Asgard was so cool, and the Asgard lore is so awesome. So I'm down for this, and I would love to see Thor have a comeback, because he's a great character, and I think he was unfairly underrated in the earliest stage of the MCU, and to see him going from underrated to finally done justice in Infinity War to Love and Thunder, it's like, if anyone deserves their time to shine in the MCU, it's Thor.
So here's the $1 billion question that I have for you, and I will answer what I think after you. What do you, if you were on the creative team, what would you do with his daughter?
It's a tough question, because I don't think they should have done that. I think that was a big mistake. I would have her killed off and have Thor go super savage.
So basically, you want her death to be the reason why he becomes Rune King Thor.
Yeah.
I was thinking even something to where what if she goes back to being the eternity somehow,
Yeah,
because I mean eternity is needed in the Marvel universe for things to happen. So what if what if she returns back to eternity? But they're good. But bro, honestly, I could even see something to where Thor just drops her off with Valkyrie. That's kind of what's probably going to end up happening. Like Thor sees
yeah,
something, he's like, "All right, I gotta go." He'll go to Valkyrie. Hey, I need you to watch her, and then he goes on his journey. That's probably what's going to end up happening,
yeah.
which is totally fine with me. Which that also that is one of my biggest, and you know me, and bro, you know me. I'm a big lore guy, so I love Eternity. I love the living Buno. I love like those cosmic, and that's why I'm a simp for some Galactus because I love cosmic beings. The Eternals is one of my favorite movies in Marvel because I love cosmic stuff, and so I was really disappointed how they butchered Eternity so hard in Thor: Love and Thunder. So I hope that we can get something with that, because that is another character that could have been used in a very grand way, and the way that they were just abusing Thor: Love and Thunder was crazy. But yeah, anyways, I think that Thor 5 is going to be awesome. And what is developing so far in these rumors just makes me happier to what is going to happen. And I love the idea of exploring Valhalla. And I also wanted to ask you this, and maybe we can go to this next week, but just give us some thought. There has to be something deeper to the idea of Jane traveling to Valhalla. There has to be something deeper to that, as in the transportation. And I
Yeah.
think that Thor might be able to go back and forth, which will be awesome because then he'll be able to communicate with Odin and and stuff like that. But Jane comes back, right? Jane comes back to life though, right? She doesn't stay in Valhalla forever, I'm pretty sure.
I don't remember.
So yeah, I'm pretty sure she comes back. So yeah. But yeah, I mean, but Comic Cuts and I are really hyped for Thor 5 and can't wait for that. Okay, so all right. Now let's get to some other news. Okay, so this is some Daredevil stuff. So Daredevil has been kind of circulating the news for a while now, and it's been very popular. A lot of people are excited. So um, we got notes that Foggy and Karen will be returning to Daredevil. We also heard that White Tiger is going to be in Daredevil as well. And this is funny because Comic Cuts brought this up, I think, a couple of weeks ago about Bullseye. There was a rumor that came out today. I have yet to post it, but a rumor did come out today that Bullseye will be returning to the Daredevil show as well. So, let me tell you guys who the White Tiger is. So, the White Tiger will most likely be the character Ava Ayala. So basically, um, if so, who the White Tiger is? Think of her as Black Panther or Moon Knight. Okay, Ava Ayala is the avatar of a god. Okay, and basically that god made her the White Tiger, and she has just a bunch of superpowers and all of this stuff. And she actually is controlled by the White Tiger god, but she ends up obviously creating her own path and stuff like that. And so also to give you guys a little more context, her brother, where his name was Hector, he was the White Tiger before her, and then she became the White Tiger. If you want to see more White Tiger content, watch Spider-Man Unlimited. I love that show. It's an anime show on Disney Plus. I think the show's hilarious. They got some dope stuff, but hey man, I think that Foggy and Karen returning to Daredevil is super awesome. They should have been like brought up from the start. Like, why would you not have these two characters back anyway? Not to mention Karen and Matt's just relationship, and their just those three. They're beautiful together. I love it. And so I'm happy about that. And I do wonder how White Tiger is going to fit in the Daredevil story. A lot of questions there, and obviously if Bullseye's returning, I mean, sign me up
Hell
all the
yeah.
way. So yeah, so bro, I don't know if you heard me, but that rumor did come out today that he's in
I
talks
heard. I
to be
heard.
back. So
Yeah.
how do you feel about all of this Daredevil news?
It's a major W. It's a sign that they're listening to the fans. Obviously these characters weren't initially in it, and to my understanding, they've already filmed most of the show, if not all. So the fact that they have it almost, in the can or fully in the can, and they're like, wait, hold up, wait a minute. we're bringing back these guys and we're bringing back Bullseye means that they are really going above and beyond to do Daredevil and the fans justice. This is a major sign of what sometimes we wonder over here if it's a myth or not, if the course correction is going on at Marvel. This is a major sign it's going on. This gets me so hyped for the future. And the best part about being a Marvel fan, is being psyched for the future, similar to Tom Brady. What's your favorite ring? The next one.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, as I said, I'm super hyped for Daredevil. I think it's going to be I think I said this a couple weeks ago. I think this is going to be the greatest Marvel show of all time. And adding a character like White Tiger, huh?
I do too.
Yeah, your facts. And I think adding a character like White Tiger will give us the introduction to characters like Moon Knight. So, and what if we get Moon Knight and Daredevil fighting each other? That would be nuts, bro.
You know what would be really cool, like with Moon Knight, is obviously Daredevil, especially this being like a continuation of the Netflix series, is a very grounded show. It's very gritty, which is awesome. That's what Daredevil should be. However, I wouldn't be opposed to having someone like Moon Knight in it in a small way. Just to have it be, like connecting to the overall MCU, but they need to be very careful how they do that, because you don't want to have a situation where this awesome show gets ruined because they change what's great about Daredevil, But I think Moon Knight is one of those characters that it works with, because he's fantastical, but he's also kind of street level, and I think people would like. The thing about Moon Knight that's interesting is fans are very divided over the show. A lot of fans like us loved it, and then a lot didn't. And I think that it was unfair, because the problem with a lot of the Disney Plus shows is that they are presented like TV shows, and when we watch TV shows, especially nowadays with all the streamers, they are designed to be binged, and they're designed but the structure and the pacing of Disney Plus shows is nothing like a Netflix series. So I think fans get turned off by that, and I think because of that, fans were turned off to Moon Knight. And I think that the right Moon Knight appearances would help warm fans up to the character.
What were the streaming numbers for Moon Knight?
It's a good question. I don't know if they'll never tell us the actual numbers. And by the way, here's the other thing about streamers and numbers. Like, when the strikes were going on, a lot of people said, well, why wouldn't the studios just meet the demands of these actors? It seems like a no-brainer, and it's not that much money to them. And that was a big argument. And I think one of the biggest misunderstandings of that argument was the fact that the streamers, to properly pay the way the actors were asking for, they would have to disclose viewership data, and they don't want to do that.
So Moon Knight was successful.
Okay. But here's the thing about those streamers is, like, they are all fighting each other, and they're racing to make more and more and more content. And I think that a lot of this content is not being watched. Like, a lot of it is just garbage, and it's not being. Don't get me wrong. That happens a lot, and we don't even know about it because we're not watching that content. We're not hearing about it, and we see what we know and love, and we think all these streamers are just, hitting home run after home run, but that's not the case, and they don't want to disclose that.
By the way, Jack Reacher is so fire, bro. I'm addicted.
So fire,
bro. My wife and I finished season 1 in 2 days.
Wow. Yeah, season 1 was great.
Sorry, off topic.
No, yeah.
But I had to tell you because you were bugging me to watch it, and I finally did. Let me just try it out, and I was like, I couldn't stop.
Yeah.
So for Moon Knight, it says uh okay, shows that it had the second highest opening of any Marvel streaming series with 1.8 million households watching its debut episode in the first 5 days. Then this other article says Disney's latest Marvel series Moon Knight is the top show in the world. Moon Knight has been the most in-demand series globally across all platforms every day for weeks, according to the audience demand data from Parrot Analytics. So the show was big, but and I do think that as I said, as you said, adding in characters to kind of like cameo in just pushes forward the narrative for the shared universe. And Daredevil is a great character to do that. Okay, so do you have any comments about Bullseye coming back?
Stoked that he's coming back. I forgot if he died or not. Like I'm in the middle of a rewatch. So I was like kind of worried. I was like, did he die or not? Bullseye to me is one of the most underrated villains in the Marvel universe. He's fire. Very. And the other thing that's really cool about villains like Bullseye, like Wilson Fisk, is that when done right and you're watching these villains, it's crazy to think that they're just street level. They make them feel so powerful and so intimidating that it's crazy that they're just street level when you think about it.
Yeah. So Bullseye did not die, but bro, his spine is shattered and he's paralyzed.
You mean he's going to come back?
And if he's in the MCU, then there's going to be some tech that's going to bring him back. So, yeah, okay. So let's get to the next topic, which now this puts a smile on my face. Okay. Rachel Brosnahan made comments on Superman Legacy. She's been trending all over Twitter for all good reason, mostly because she has just looked, just drop dead gorgeous in her press for all of the stuff and the stuff that she's been saying. This woman is media trained. Let's say that, number one. And she has the smile. She's just like a ray of sunshine, like when she's on the red carpet. And when it comes to DC, this is what we need. She gives me very similar vibes, bro, to what like Gal Gadot was. How like Gal was that breath of fresh air in like DC.
Yeah,
like it was like there was Henry Cavill drama and then Ben Affleck drama, but every time it came to Gal, it was always like, oh, like, she's amazing. That's what Rachel Brosnahan is bringing. So let's talk about some things that she talked about, and then you can give me your 2 cents. So this is what she said. I've really enjoyed the collaboration with James Gunn so far. Every single person involved in this production is such a perfect nerd for Superman. We all grew up watching the movies. Some of us were reading the comics. So I feel like it's being made with so much love. And I think this Superman will have a sense of humor. We are excited to put both of our own spin on things and to honor the material we love so much. Also, she also said in this interview, because I watched it live, she said that she has been talking to reporters, people that actually report news in the field, so she can basically model what a reporter actually is. How does that make you feel?
It is such a breath of fresh air that the people that are making a Superman movie care about being faithful to their characters and accurate, and they're going above and beyond to do their homework. My God, and this is why I have faith in James Gunn. James Gunn knows how to pick the right people. He knows how to collaborate with them. And, I think like it makes the most sense for him to direct the Superman movie. Like this is the first piece of entertainment coming out of the DCU. And, sometimes if you want something done right, you do it yourself. And, he's obviously picked the right person with Rachel Brosnahan. And the other thing I got to say here, there's a show that came out. I think my mom actually told me I would like it, but I remember my friend's girlfriend, wife now, was always posting about it. It was called Marvelous Miss Maisel. I think I have it right. But she was the actor in it. And people always said she delivered. So, people really like her who've seen her work. But she seems to really care about the movie. She seems to really enjoy working with the people she's working with. And she obviously notices that everyone around her cares about being faithful to the characters. And she is beautiful. I mean, like, objectively beautiful, So I definitely think that is going to, go a long way with Lois Lane, as it should. And don't get me wrong, we've always had a very pretty Lois Lane. I'm not trying to throw shade or anything, but I'm just saying Rachel is beautiful. Obviously, it goes a long way with Lois Lane. And, I can't wait to hear David Cornsweet talk about Superman, because that's coming.
So she did comment on David Cornsweet, and this is a perfect segue. She did say that he is in Atlanta doing fight training for Superman.
Yes, I did. I actually watched the cut of her talking, and so David Cornsweet, listen, he's going to kill it. This movie is going to be so fire. And by the way, like, if you haven't watched my video, it's on our page of why the Superman and Batman movies are so important in the future of the DCU. You should. But the other thing that I'm really excited about for Superman Legacy is, like, when you look at James Gunn's style on paper, like I did for that movie, and I get into it, bright colors, vibrant, optimistic, camera work. I mean, all of these are like core elements for a Superman movie. And, I think they also said that David Cornsweet Superman is going to have a sense of humor. And obviously there are a lot of people online that exploited that. Here's the thing. There's a very big difference in being a comedy and a character having a sense of humor, okay? And people are pretending to be dumb and acting like they don't know the difference. They do. Unless they really are that silly, which I don't believe they are. So listen, this is going to be a bright movie. I kind of do, like, Spider-Man has a sense of humor. He's not a comedian, I don't think that Superman is going to have witty remarks the way, like witty punchlines the way Spider-Man does. But I do think that this Superman movie is going to be like an optimistic blend of like a Spider-Man movie and even the Fantastic Four movies of the 2000s. And I'm not saying the movie is going to be like that, but I think the vibes are going to be similar to that.
Yeah, I'm comparing it to Spider-Man 1 with like the original Sam Raimi Spider-Man 1. That's the kind of vibe that we're going to get.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking, for sure.
Mm-hmm. And so, and just to piggyback off of what you're saying, like a lot of people are just taking like Superman, and this is how people don't read comics, because Superman's humor is that he is just naturally clumsy and dumb. Like, like when he gets around Lois, he gets so nervous that he doesn't know how to act, and it comes off as humorous, and kind of like cute. Pause. But like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, and if you watch Smallville really focuses on that, like the humorous slash nutty, like clumsy side of Superman, and that's what I think we're going to get with David Cornsweet Superman.
Even in the Richard Donner Supermans, this was the case.
Yes.
Remember the scene where Lois Lane jumps off the roof, and he was like, "What if I wasn't Superman?" I forget the exact line, but the scene that I'm talking about. Superman had a sense of humor in those movies, and it didn't make the movie a comedy in the way that Guardians of the Galaxy is. So, number one, stop typecasting people. Number two, stop hating on someone so much that every single piece of information that comes out, you're looking to twist their words to make it sound bad. It's like unbelievable. Let it go and just be happy.
Yeah.
Crazy idea.
Also, if you want to watch the best Clark Kent, watch Smallville. best character deep dive on who Clark Kent is as a character and the sacrifice that he has to make as Superman.
I gotta watch that show.
I also hope that Superman. One of the biggest things I want, bro, is Superman Legacy is that Lois doesn't know. I hope that they don't. I hope that they don't make it go fast, because even in the My Adventures with Superman show, the animated show that I love, have you watched that yet?
No.
You gotta watch it, bro. It's awesome. It's
Yeah,
awesome.
I do.
But the one thing that I didn't like about it was that Lois Lane found out in like episode like 3 or 4. Like she found out so early.
I actually think
I don't like that.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I think that's part of like the chemistry and the tease and the momentum of us being fans. You know, I don't think James Gunn is going to do that.
Yeah. I hope that she doesn't know for the whole movie. I would love for her to find out at like the freaking Justice League movie that you like. That would be fire, bro. Like, but what if he keeps it until like that would be fire? So, I am so excited for the future of the DCU. All right, so, some more DCU news. Okay, Anya Chalotra, she is casted as Cersei in the Creature Commandos. So, if you don't know, the Creature Commandos is a project that James Gunn is very passionate about, that he's been working on. If you are a James Gunn fan, you know that James Gunn has a really big love for, superhero groups. And so there's an animated Creature Commando show that is coming out this year. And my guess is that she's voicing and playing the live action. So if you don't know who Cersei is a goddess in the DCU. She is a villain of Wonder Woman. She has faced off against characters like Batman and Superman from time to time, but she's really more of a villain for Diana, aka Wonder Woman. So now let's talk about Anya real quick. Okay, she was in The Witcher, okay, and she killed it, bro. She killed it. And so I'm really excited to see her kind of play this character of Cersei. I would have liked her to play a more notable character that she could work with for years. And I don't know what they're going to do with her, but when it comes to Cersei, I think she's a great casting, and I can't wait to see this Creature Commando show.
Yeah, I think this Creature Commando show, is going to be fire. Like, they have the only 2 castings I know of so far are Frank Grillo and now Anya Chalotra. So, again, the right guy, James Gunn, picking the right people. You're muted.
Which makes me think, what if he's talking to Liam Hemsworth on the side? Just saying.
Ooh.
What if he's Batman?
Why? Oh, hell no.
I wouldn't like it.
I would not like that at all. Why?
He's probably
what
not.
Makes you think of Liam Hemsworth?
I don't know. I could see him in the DCU being someone though.
No, but is Anya? Or
because she's in The Witcher and Liam took a Henry Cavill spot.
Oh, okay.
It's just throwing stuff out there. And plus, one of the girls that's in it, she's in talks for the Supergirl role. That's why I'm thinking is James Gunn talking to a bunch of people from The Witcher.
Right. Interesting.
So interesting, bro.
Yeah,
but
I wouldn't like him as Batman at all.
Yeah,
that would be horrible.
No. After watching Jack Reacher, bro, Alan Rickman needs to be Batman, bro. I'm sorry. It gotta happen, bro. It's gotta happen. Oh my goodness, bro. He needs to be Batman, bro. He has to. Oh man.
He definitely needs to be in the DCU. I don't know about Batman.
Yes, bro. He can do it, man. He can do it.
On paper, it looks good, but I don't know. I just don't see him as Batman.
I'm seeing it, my brother.
Do you not think he would be a good Hal Jordan?
No. Well, I think he would be a good Hal Jordan, but I think he'd be a better Batman. I think Alan Rickman can be good at anything he does.
I
Given
see him as Hal Jordan,
he could even play Superman if he really wanted to. He could play all of them.
Captain America.
Bro, he could really play almost anybody. He could play Batman. He could play Aquaman. He could play Superman. He has the acting ability and the look. He has that look. But yeah, I would love Alan as Batman. And I think that he's old enough.
He'd have to dye his hair.
I'm down. I think he would do it. Alan is old enough, bro, to
Who
where he
wouldn't
can
dye
play.
their hair to play Batman?
Yeah, shoot, I'd dye my hair to play Batman. I think Alan is old enough because I'm pretty sure he's in his 40s, or late
Oh,
30s.
he's
But
definitely not getting it.
yes, he is because Batman is going to be older because of Damian.
Not 40.
They're going to have to choose an older Batman because
Right,
of
right.
Damian Wayne.
Zac Efron's 36.
He's not. He's too short to be
I'm
Batman.
totally messing with
Way
you.
too short to be Batman. Oh my god. But yeah, Alan Richardson's 41, and I mean they need an older Batman. He's probably not going to be the guy, to be honest. But I think he will be a good a good Batman. I do think for Batman they're going to choose someone that's like 36 to 37, around that age. But yeah, so we are all in on Creature Commando. So all right, let's get to the next order of business. So Fantastic Four. So there was some leaked art. We don't know if it's confirmed or not, but it did get put on Twitter and on all Reddit, all the other social medias. So I want to show you guys this. And so what this art is this character, and her name is Juno. So basically, what happened was, right, for the Fantastic Four movie, there is hold on, let me show this. Make sure it's shown. Okay, here it is. So the Silver Surfer was rumored to be in Fantastic Four, and the rumor that's going around is that they are not doing the Fantastic Four. They're going to go with Juno, who is one of Galactus's heralds, and she's kind of going to be taking the place of the Silver Surfer in this movie. Now this is the rumor photo. Now I'm gonna say this: this young looks fire. I ain't gonna lie. She does look dope. This concept does look awesome. Now, where I am at personally, maybe it's because I'm not the biggest Silver Surfer fan. I do think that it's a L if you don't have the Silver Surfer, just because you're dealing with Galactus. Why not use his most famous herald? But if Silver Surfer is not in this movie, it doesn't kill the film for me. But it is mostly because I'm more of a Galactus guy than a Silver Surfer guy personally. So this doesn't really kill my view on the Fantastic Four film. How do you feel about this art? But just to make clear, I still think that it is still a L if you don't go with the Silver Surfer. How do you feel about the art?
Listen, you don't make a Fantastic Four movie with Galactus and not have Silver Surfer. You don't do it. Period. This looks like crap because it should be Norrin Rad. And listen, you're going to piss off a lot of fans when this movie needs to be one of the best MCU movies of all time, and the future of the MCU is riding on this movie. Why would you piss off your fans? Why?
Yeah, man, I feel the same way. As I said, for me personally, it doesn't really kill my view of the movie. I think it's an L. But yeah, I mean, I hope that this is not true, and that's all I'll say. Because a lot of Comic Cuts and I have covered a lot of concept arts before. Just like for Black Adam, like there was a concept art drop for Superman that we had covered, and it wasn't Superman. So I hope that this isn't true, and I hope that this is something that someone else had made up. So we'll see.
Here's the other thing: is that there is a lot with the Fantastic Four, and hold on. So the thing with the Fantastic Four is that they carry a lot of emotional depth between Reed Richards, Sue. The Thing is the sleeper. I mean, he really is he carries the most emotion throughout like every one of their stories. And, I feel like people overlook him for obvious reasons, but whatever. Silver Surfer also has an emotional depth to him as well. He usually has very complex emotions, deep introspection, and he adds so much to the stories that he's in because, like, you kind of have this guy who works for Galactus, but he's guilty about it, but he has to. And, like, it adds so much to the story. And listen, I'm not so well versed on Juno or Nova, or sorry, not Nova, or Rhea, whoever the other one was, because I like Silver Surfer. everyone likes Silver Surfer. You use Silver Surfer. You know, like, I don't know. They keep making these kinds of moves, and what other kind of conclusion are we to come to? You know, I think everyone knows what I'm saying. It would be a massive L. And when, like I was saying before, if the future of the MCU is riding on the Fantastic Four, because they have depleted their roster to a horrendous extent. If you look at the Avengers roster for the Avengers 5, Kang Dynasty, or rework title, whatever, and Secret Wars, you know, the Fantastic Four are the creme de la creme of that roster. They're already creme de la creme within the Marvel Universe. So this is essentially, you know, an Iron Man to those movies. And you need this movie to be absolutely fire. Everyone needs to love it. And why would you, with how important this movie is, why would you basically, I mean, this is like a smack in the face to fans. Why would you do that? Do you not want fans to love this movie? Do you want fans to have a bad taste in their mouth going into this movie? Or do you think that fans are just going to, you know, get behind it because, you know, they agree with your decision for the reason that we're not supposed to say, you know, I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens, and we hope that, you know, this ain't true. We hope this is fake.
Yeah.
We hope this art is fake. So yeah. All right. So now we are getting to my favorite part of the show, which is how we end our shows for now. We are reacting to tweets. But before we get into the segment, Comic Cuts is going to share some of his journeys, some of his trips this week. So here you go, bro. The floor is yours.
Okay. So I tweeted the other day about, I was having a conversation. I basically tweeted that there is, you know, I'm going to pull it up. So in a long conversation, I tweeted in a response to a friend of ours and frequent viewer of the show, Chigs. What's up, Chigs? He wrote, "The obsession with the Snyderverse is sad. It wasn't even faithful at that, so to be not faithful and then not good is a double negative." I wrote 100%. There's also a direct relationship with comic accuracy and quality. When comic accuracy isn't prevalent, the movie doesn't work. So, a DC employee, he's writes in his bio, showrunner, TRESE, which is an acronym for something that I'm not sure what it is. I couldn't even guess. But he was the director, I guess, of The Dark Knight Returns, Flashpoint Paradox, also did storyboard for the Flash TV series, Man of Steel, BVS, Wonder Woman, Zack Snyder's Justice League. So, pretty legit resume. You know, I think anyone would read that and obviously be like, yeah, this guy's got some great work. Awesome. Here's the problem. He wrote, what exactly is comic accurate in this case? The Snyderverse was inspired by many different Batman and DC stories and combined them in a different light. Very vague, by the way, but he continues. Even Nolan's Batman films are an elseworld that takes inspiration and isn't exactly accurate in every aspect. Okay, so is it accurate or is it not? Because now you're saying, well, they're accurate, but they're not. Like, they're either accurate and based on a lot of Batman stories, or they're not accurate and based on a lot of Batman stories. You can't have it both ways. I don't know. I wrote, I don't know. You tell me. My argument is that they are not comic accurate. Nolan didn't break the core of the characters. Batman felt very guilty about the deaths that he played a role in. Also, when he changed Bane completely, that was the movie that everyone felt was subpar to the other two. Also, this is why you can't compare Nolan to Snyder. Nolan's trilogy is collectively beloved, while the Snyderverse is not, but has an obscure cult following online. People did not like that. So there were a lot of responses and everything, but ultimately there was these two tweets that I really want to talk about specifically. Are you going to show them, or do you have them?
No, I don't, because it was so many tweets. I'm not gonna lie. I was trying to screenshot it, but I didn't know which ones you were going to pinpoint.
So,
can you send me? Can you screenshot it and send it over?
Show the first one, and then we'll get into the second one.
Yeah,
the second one is in relation to my conversation. But
yeah, read it off now too, and just don't forget about the part when Jay Olivia didn't respond back because you cooked him.
Yeah, of course he didn't respond back. So I wrote. Oh, I'm going to send that one too. Actually, hold on. One of them just tweeted at me again. They won't let it go. This has been going on for 5 days.
All right. So yeah, bro. So Comic Cuts went at it with Jay Olivia, who worked on a bunch of DC projects last week. Very dope for our show, though. I mean, that Comic Cuts got to talk to somebody that actually worked on the projects. So that's the positive that we can take out of that. But Comic Cuts did cook them to an extent.
Yeah. So I don't understand why people can't argue and have a conversation without being so
emotional.
Not even emotional, like smug, rude.
All right, bro.
Wait, there's one more. No. There's one more I really wanted to. Oh, yeah, this one. Okay, and I followed up on this one. And. Okay.
All right, bet.
Okay, so show the first one. I want to have
in the first one is the one where Snyder, you don't read you obviously don't read comic. Okay. Go ahead.
All right. So basically he said, is it up?
I am just go now. I'm making it happen.
So I wrote, you don't read comics or you're just a total clown. Snyder butchered everything. I wrote a couple bullet points. Superman doesn't kill. It was Jason Todd who was killed by Joker, not Dick. Batman used a gun in Justice League. I can go on, but maybe just go read some comics and you realize Snyder wasn't faithful to them. This is where Jay Oliva comes in, and this is where we get into the problem. DC comic fans know about the Infinite Earths and that there are multiple versions of Earth and the heroes/villains. That's how we get stories like Red Sun and Gotham by Gaslight. The live-action movie universe is just one of these parallel universes. He's not wrong about parallel universe. Obviously, if something happens in a movie, it's obviously a separate universe than a comic. But thanks for clarifying, I guess. Anyway, even the DC animated stuff is its own timelines and universes. The Wonder Woman in the animated movie isn't the same as the Wonder Woman in Justice League Unlimited. It's not all canon for one singular timeline, but for many multiple threads. Justice League Crisis on Two Earths is a good example. Duh. So I want to visit his first response. Okay. This is what I want to call laundering credibility. Okay. Because Jay Oliva doesn't have a good argument. And he is basically saying that DC, because everyone was like, oh, you got roasted by Jay Oliva, a goat. First of all, there's no such thing as a goat. There's one goat. Greatest of all time. Is Jay Oliva the GOAT? I wouldn't say so. Like I said, though, no shade to Jay on his resume. He has a fire resume that a lot of people in that business would kill for. So his props are due there, But DC comic fans know about the Infinite Earths. Okay, first of all, you can't just say, there are multiple Earths. Anything could happen on this Earth. And that means that anything could happen on that Earth. Like, no. If in that case, anything can happen anywhere, and it doesn't matter because it's a multiverse. It's the laziest excuse in the game. And if you're giving me the excuse, well, it's the multiverse, anything can happen, like, you don't have an argument. I actually said the other day to another guy on Twitter who was making this argument, and I was like, listen, there's a comic with Spider-Man being a pig. That doesn't mean you make the first Spider-Man movie in a new universe a Spider-Man pig, okay? So you don't build a universe with Man of Steel, a Superman who really is, especially in BVS, but Man of Steel 2, hated by the people, misunderstood, killed someone. Superman's supposed to be this bright beacon of moral good and optimism, not a killer. And, Red Sun, Gotham by Gaslight, great. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about Man of Steel and BVS, the introductions to the two most important characters in the DC universe. In this case, the DCEU, DC Extended Universe. So don't tell me that Man of Steel and BVS are some obscure take like Red Sun or Gotham by Gaslight, okay? Because that's not what you guys were aiming for. You guys were aiming for the DC franchise success that Marvel has. And you failed to deliver on that. So maybe be like, we should have made the characters faithful to who they are in the comics. And yeah, I'm sure there's always people like, well, and Superman 402 from 1971. Superman killed Zod right here. Okay, but traditionally, is Superman a killer in the comics? No. Okay, so is it inaccurate to have Superman as a killer? Yes. You could always find some obscure comic, okay? If you have to be a nerd who's read, and someone else came to me like, well, I've read every single Superman comic, and if you have to read every single comic to know that Superman once in a while kills someone, then that's obviously not the traditional Superman, okay? Because I've read a bunch of Superman comics too. I haven't seen that. So, and this is the thing, like, DC comic fans know I am a DC comic fan, okay? And when you tell me something like that, could you imagine? And listen, I responded to someone, by the way, on the top tweet who was very disrespectful. I never wrote something like that to Jay Oliva. Jay Oliva chimed in like that, and he's got a pattern of doing that. Could you imagine if James Gunn tweeted like this to a fan? Could you imagine what the Snyder cult would say? They would light up.
Yeah. Closest thing he said was he told Den of Nerds, that's why you live in your mom's basement. That's the closest James Gunn got to being mad. That was hilarious. But keep going.
But they were going at it. He didn't chime in. Like, that was after a while.
And he didn't. I mean, and Den of Nerds didn't care. He just trolled the whole thing. So it was all a joke. Keep going.
But yeah, and listen, Jay Oliva has a habit of doing this. Go to the next one. Number 2 or 3 that I sent you.
All right, bet. Can you respond to Hungry Almighty's thing in the chat while I'm trying to pull that up?
It's exactly what I'm saying. This is exactly what I'm saying. Okay? This would be like, let's make a new James Bond universe and, make James Bond the dog, because anything could happen in the multiverse. Like, these characters are who they are for a reason, okay? And when you change that, you don't have an accurate Superman, and that's why you don't have a successful Superman. There's a reason they had to end the Snyderverse and call in the big dog to deliver where Snyder failed to do it. That's, guys, James Gunn. And the other thing here, by the way, Jay Oliva is laundering his credibility. He is basically coming in and saying, listen, I've worked on all these movies, so I know better than you. You don't, okay? Listen, I read a lot of comics. I'm sure Jay does too. But here's the thing. Your excuse is that, well, DC comic fans know about the multiverse, so anything could happen. That is so weak. So, like, if you're supposed to be the guy that has this amazing DC resume and knows better than everyone else, you should have a better excuse than the multiverse. And I don't know what this was in response to. I think the tweet doesn't exist because this was from a couple years ago, 2018. But he writes, by the way, Roger, you don't need to inform me of Batman's rule. I'm well aware of it because, I kind of did 20 films, TV series with him in it. Guess what? They were all different versions of Batman. Hope this helps you understand why your statement about Zack's Batman is wrong. I mean, really, dude? But, that's why the Snyder Cult loves him. He talks like they do, and he worked on their movies. But you know what? It's also why the Snyderverse is over, because they weren't faithful to these characters. And you can't not be faithful to characters like Batman and Superman because people are so deeply attached to these characters. There's a reason they're so iconic. And they're so iconic because their stories work. Their traditional stories work. Listen, we all love movies like Red Son and comics like Red Son and, Gotham by Gaslight. But we understand that's like an obscure take. When you make a movie and you call it Man of Steel, I'm expecting an accurate take on Superman, okay? It's called Man of Steel. Like, it's called a spade here.
Exactly, and just as you said, right? Like, you're not going to pull from Red Sun Superman that he's the killer. Like that's something that you're not going to do. And when you're going against who the character is, like who they are to the very bone, that's when there's an issue. Wonder Woman would kill anyone if she wanted to. Wonder Woman does not care. She has no picks at all. Okay, we've seen that. When it comes to Batman and Superman, it's a little different. It's a little different. And as much as I hate the Nolan films, Nolan touched on that really, really hard. That's why when Batman takes the blame for killing Harvey Dent, that's a very important, thing that happens in the Nolan trilogy because we all know that Batman lives by the rule, just like in Batman Begins, right? When Batman was on the freaking train with Ra's, when he told Batman, he said, "Kill me." And what did Batman say? He said, I won't kill you, but that doesn't mean I have to save you. So that right there just shows how important that rule is. And so that doesn't mean that you can go to the next Batman movie and just make him a killer. So
yeah. And, the one movie where they weren't faithful to the comics was the one that everyone had a problem with, which was The Dark Knight Rises. They completely botched Bane. They completely botched the League. So it proves my point. And, by the way, you tell me, was the Snyderverse a success? Obviously not. Now, let's go to the last one because I want to get into this one.
All right, bet. Can you answer the
yeah.
Answer your chats because
Dragon
fast. Trainer and Hungry Almighty got some question on this. There you go.
Imagine if we had more source material DC cinematic universe than WB reboots, and then you got the Snyderverse. I would have been. I don't like imagine if we had more source material. Could you rewrite your comment, Hungry Almighty? Because I'm kind of confused.
Like, imagine we had a more source material DC Comics universe, and then Warner Brothers reboots, and then you get a Snyderverse. I would have been a little more okay. So he's saying that, what if, right? What if like James Gunn does his reboot, but the Snyderverse still exists? He's saying he would have been okay with that. So are you
Listen, I'm fine with that, but the only problem with that is it's not the material and the content itself. It's the problem that these brats online just won't let go. Like, I'm sorry, but I it's insane that you have people on Twitter who are grown adults that are campaigning for DC to sell off the rights to DC to Netflix so Netflix could build a DC universe to compete with their DC universe. I mean, this would be like the Lakers trading LeBron to a competitive team for just cash.
Exactly. Also, so Red Sun Superman is a Elseworlds thing, and basically Red Sun Superman is basically what if Kal-El landed in the Soviet Union instead of America? That's basically what Red Sun Superman is, and so
and
he's like
and how it would have changed him and radicalized him and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, pretty. There's an animated movie on HBO Max. I think you should watch it. Really dope. Yeah. If you don't want to read the comics,
definitely check it out. And by the way, check out Jay Oliva's movies. They're great. Like, some of them are some of my favorite animated movies ever. The guy crushes it. So props to you, Jay. You're obviously talented in what you do, but we got to call a spade here.
And then let's can we just respond to this last chat and then you go right into it?
Yeah.
It says what
Snyder Cut was awesome. Come on, the remake of the Justice League had more action than the other Justice League. First of all, Dragon Trainer, all love, baby, but more action doesn't equal a better movie. I like the Justice League. Okay, I'm not saying the Justice League is a bad movie. I actually think the Justice League does better in comic accuracy than the other two for obvious reasons. But I still wish we had a faithful. I wish the Snyderverse was more faithful to the characters. And if it were, I think it might even still exist today. That's my point. So in this last one, I responded to a tweet that I already read, which you could read it again if you'd like, but I'm just going to go straight into my response. But that wasn't the DCEU, which was a major investment and failure for Warner Brothers, whose goal was to build a wildly successful cinematic universe. Do you, Jay Oliva, believe that if the DCEU, mainly the Snyder movies, were more comic accurate to the traditionalist versions of the characters, the Snyder movies and the DCEU as a whole would have been more successful or not? I followed up on this one the next day. Of course, he didn't answer because he can't answer this. Because if he's going to answer it honestly, it's not a good look. He knows it. And that's why he wouldn't answer this. He had time to answer 3 of my tweets. If you go on his Twitter, he's very active, almost daily. So he definitely saw this, considering I wrote it, got 250 views, followed up on it the next day, but no response. So he knows it, but instead of admitting it, he's going to use it's a multiverse, so anything can happen, and we can be not faithful to the characters and bend the rules because it's a multiverse. Like, nah, that doesn't work. That excuse is lame. And just because you work at DC and have a lame excuse, it doesn't explain any of this, and your excuse isn't more credible because you work at DC. And that's why I say you're laundering credibility, because you're exploiting the fact that you work at DC to lend credibility to your argument that doesn't make sense.
Yep. 100% agree. He's just using an excuse for the poor writing and the bad decision making that Zack Snyder did.
Yeah.
That's all he's doing.
And by the way, the other thing here too is I don't like that people in the industry, like when Zack Snyder doesn't ask his fans to stop harassing James Gunn, like that doesn't sit well with me. If I were a director and I had a lot of fans online falsely accusing another one of the disgusting things that they accuse James Gunn of, like I would say, hey, guys, I appreciate your loyalty and your support for me, but please treat my colleagues with respect or something like that. It's so easy to say. And, I've had conversations with some pretty big Snyder fan accounts that, that's not all they talk about, but they're big accounts and they are fans of Snyder. And almost all of them have said, I thought that too. So I know I'm not alone in thinking that.
Yep. Good stuff, bro. Good stuff. All right, now let's hit these. Is this an evil Superman from another Earth? Yes, he is evil. I meant if we had a DC universe that was more comic accurate, like the DCAU, for example, and then after that universe stories are done and it's time to reboot, and the new universe is Snyder, then it's
what it would be like? It would be like in Iron Man to have Superior Iron Man, who is an Iron Man who kind of becomes a villain. Imagine having an evil Iron Man before getting an Iron Man movie. Like, you just don't do that. It makes no sense. And that's why the MCU is successful, and that's why the DCEU is over. And by the way, I know a lot of people online are like, well, the DCEU is successful because it made a lot of money. Of course it made a lot of money. You had Batman versus Superman. Someone the other day also told me that, I'm going to pull this one up too. Hold on.
All right, I will respond to this chat then. The DCAU New 52 DCAMU and the Young Justice should be the blueprints on how the DCAU should look like. I love Young Justice, love New 52, love the DCAU. Yep, I 100% agree. I think that those are all blueprints that they should take after. And James Gunn even said that, one of the shows that he's taking inspiration from is the animated Justice League show. So really sad about that. But go ahead.
I wrote, what James Gunn never did? Dropped a movie, have everyone say it was trash, to then turn around and say, quote, don't worry, guys, the director's coming, the director's cut is coming, and will be better, end quote. And people did not like that. And then someone else quote tweeted me and wrote, James Gunn never made $873 million at the box office and also had that trash movie be one of Netflix's most successful movies ever in less than 2 months. It's like they don't even think about or do any research on their views or tweets before writing it. So I wrote, nice try. But Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 grossed 860. And I was wrong. It's actually 870. Grossed 870 mil. And I wrote something else after, but that's it's not as relevant to the conversation. And then another one of them tried to argue with me, well, Batman versus Superman still did 2 more million. Like, dude, you're arguing over 2 million on 870 mil? Are you out of your mind? It's like it's literally insignificant. It is literally insignificant. It's unbelievable, and it's so crazy to me. But guess what? When the DCU finally comes and Superman Legacy drops and Batman the Brave and the Bold drops and the Green Lantern Corps drops, and Creatures Commando, these kids they're all going to be fans. They're going to hate themselves for being fans because this content is going to be so fire that they are going to, it's going to be hard to pretend they don't like it.
Yep. All right. Now, thank you for that's the legendary Comic Cuts rant that I love. One of the reasons why I love this podcast. All right. So we are in our reacting to tweets part of the show. Okay. So it is going to be very interesting to see if the DCU Superman will be put into difficult situations that will force him to question his morals, or will it be played safe and sound? Hashtag Superman Legacy. Now, I love this GIF because the reality is that in this moment, when Superman snaps the neck of Zod, Superman does fail. Superman goes against his morale in this moment and kills Zod. And I do think that in Superman Legacy, of course, his morals will be put into question. Obviously, when you were dealing with people like Lois Lane and Jimmy Olsen playing a big role in this movie, those are going to be people that he has close relationships with, and we should expect that they are going to be caught in the middle of whatever is going on, which is going to make him question himself, and he's going to have to keep his emotions in check. So yes, I do believe that James Gunn is going to put him into places to question his morale, and I think that goes perfect with that lightful tone that is going to be with the Superman Legacy movie.
Yeah, I agree, and I love this tweet. I really do. Perfect choice of GIF, and when that moment happens, by the way, that is going to be, I guarantee you, that scene will be trending on Twitter.
Yeah, for sure. Because we're going to see,
and you could bet Superman takes the high road.
Yep. Because we didn't see it happen once, but twice. Because remember, in the beginning of VBS, he literally darn near killed that dude that was remember when he landed
Terrorist.
and remember when he just grabbed him and just basically took him through like a pile of bricks, like, bro.
Yeah, didn't he kill Steppenwolf too?
No, I don't know. I don't remember. I don't remember.
I want to check.
Did Steppenwolf die?
I'm checking right now.
No.
Yes,
he got put back, right?
ChatGPT. Yes, in Zack Snyder's Justice League, commonly referred to as the Snyder Cut. So yeah,
Superman kills him. Yo, okay. All right, next tweet. I'm not even going to. I'm not.
He can't even make a Superman movie without killing.
Yeah, I'm not even going to. I'm not even going to talk about it because I'm going to actually. I'm actually okay. I have no idea how they will top this design. Once the time comes to introduce MCU.
There's an important caveat. So Superman punches him to the boom tube, and he is beheaded by Wonder Woman. Still crazy.
That's fine.
But
I'm totally fine with that. Okay, I hate when people say that a bright, hopeful, goody two-shoes Supes is not cool, when we have seen many times that similar characters like Captain America and Optimus Prime were cool, but still the same. I 100% agree, bro. But here's the thing. A lot of people don't understand what actual language is. And so when they hear like a brightful movie that they think is going to be a comedy. So, bro, they're going to be so shocked when they see this movie and how Cornsway actually acts as Superman.
They hear James Gunn and they think comedy. It's like, it's crazy.
Exactly. Like they think this is going to be Guardians of like the Galaxy, and it's not. So,
yeah.
All right. Let me reread this. I have no idea how they'll top this design once the time comes to introduce MCU's beats. Okay. A beast. Okay. Number one, this design is so fire. I mean, look at it.
I agree.
This is perfect. This is way better. Oh, let's not talk about Nicholas Hoult because there is a tweet for him and his beast. I think Kelsey Grammer plays Beast well. I hope that he can stay as the Beast in even past Year Wars, mostly because this is a CGI character. But this, I mean, he looks perfect. I love it.
Yeah.
Let's see what he in the Snyder Cut. Wonder Woman killed him. Yes. All right. Dolph Lawrence says the final cut of Aquaman
Lundgren.
and the Lost. How you say it? Lundgren. Sorry.
I actually don't know. I tried to correct you. And
Yeah, I definitely
sorry.
just yeah. After we butchered Steven Yeun's name, goodness gracious, yo, Comic Cuts heard his name at an award show and he texted me like, bro, we've been butchering his name for the past like 2 months.
Yeah,
I feel so bad because I love Invincible. I do, and I've been saying Yen this whole time. Anyways,
yeah.
Dolph Lundgren says the final cut of Aquaman in the Lost Kingdom is different to James Wan's vision for the film. I was just disappointed for the moviegoers because I thought the original script was great and the original cut. Here we go again with these original cuts, man. I thought Aquaman 2 was actually good, so I don't really see the point of doing an original cut. But basically, what Dolph is saying without saying it is that Amber Heard played a way bigger role in the original script.
I thought the same thing.
That's basically what he was saying. And as much as people have their problems with Amber Heard, she is perfect as Mira. And I do think the original cut is probably way better than what the movie actually is because Orm most likely wasn't even supposed to be in this film, being real. He probably got put in the film after all of that stuff that happened. So I believe him. I do think the original cut is probably way more fire. How do you
Yeah, I agree. Listen, I like Dolph. But I thought the same exact thing. I was like, listen, they had to reshoot it with the Amber Heard thing. Amber Heard, I liked her as Mira. Obviously, we saw the verdict, and sorry that Johnny Depp had to go through that. But we understand why Warner Brothers cut back on the Amber Heard footage. Maybe the movie suffered from it, but that was an L they were willing to take due to extenuating circumstances.
Yep.
And listen, at the end of the DCEU, if we see a release, the Aquaman 2 cut campaign, I am gonna.
I can't do it.
Yeah,
I can't do it. I knew they weren't going to cut her out of Aquaman. Cut her out. Aquaman 2 is awesome. I want to watch it. Yes, Aquaman 2 is awesome. But they cut Jonathan Major. Anyway, all right. Next slide. James Gunn needs to realize making everything funny is what ruined the DCEU. That's why the general audience doesn't care about comic book movies anymore. Besides, who the hell is interested in a funny Superman? So Comic Cuts cooked on this. So I think it's my turn to interject on this. So as we said before, people are not understanding what they're saying when Wednesday Superman has a sense of humor, but also when did comedy ruin the DCU? Comedy was never the thing that ruined the DCU. What ruined the DCU was not staying true to what makes the characters who they are. The issue is that you made changes to Batman and Superman and all the other characters that was good. The issue was that the DCEU, and it isn't just Zack Snyder, it's Patty Jenkins, it's all of them. They rushed the process. You wanted to go against Avengers so bad that you forced a Justice League film that no one was ready for. Why didn't we get a solo Batman film with Ben Affleck if that's the Batman you were trying to build off of? Why did we get another Green Lantern reboot film? Why did we get a Black Adam movie before a Man of Steel 2? Those are the real questions. So if you were really trying to build the lack of actually taking care to build a universe is what killed the DCU. And literally fans didn't care. So do you have anything to say about that?
Yeah, I mean, this is like, I don't believe for a second that, listen, we see a lot of silly takes, but I don't believe that you are that silly and you believe that comedy is what ruined the DCEU. I mean, there are literally like 2 movies that you could qualify as comedies in the DCEU, and those are Suicide Squad and The Suicide Squad, and that is it. Okay, The Flash had some humor, but it wasn't a comedy. This is silly, and this is just, let's pretend that things are not what they are, so we can criticize James Gunn because we wish Zack Snyder was still making DC movies. That's all it is.
100%. All right. Next. Okay. Not gonna lie. This explains. Okay.
We'll
Let me.
read the first one.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Okay. So, Film Updates tweeted, Barry Keoghan improvised the grave scene in Sawburn, and this is what he said. Hold on. I just wanna do it. Let me get on Dragon Trainer's chat. He said this. You know what? I agree with that. Besides, why did Superman come out? Why did Superman come out in Black Adam if they weren't going to make another movie with them fighting? And I do agree. And The Rock tried to take over DC and force that plan on them, but they ended up going with James Gunn. So that was in the plans, but they were trying to make Black Adam like Shazam, which was crazy. Rushing a Justice League movie, doing unorthodox changes to characters like Bats and Soups, and finally just releasing movies left and right after losing your actors for Batman and Superman. Hungry Almighty, Dragon Trainer, you guys are on the freaking money right now. You guys need to start a show. Okay. Barry Keoghan improvised the grave scene in Sawburn, and this is what he says. I just wanted to explore and grow with the character. I asked for a close set. I said I want to try something. I just wanted to see what I do as Oliver. And this guy, Dark Defective, says this. Not gonna lie, this explains almost everything about his Joker. Ish like this added nothing, and Matt Reeves needs to be on his behind going forward. He has more raw talent than Zoe, but she had great instincts and was smarter. So she managed to put in a significantly better performance. Comic Cuts, I know you wanted to talk about this. The floor is yours.
This is crazy. I mean, you missed the mark so bad. First of all, like Barry Keoghan, I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name right, and I got to get that right because, he absolutely crushed that Joker. And it was, the crazy thing is like he crushed it in a 5-minute scene. And, before that 5-minute scene, he really technically is only in the movie for 10 seconds. Okay. So you're judging, a 5-minute scene and 10 seconds on his entire Joker that we haven't really seen yet and pretending that Zoe had a better portrayal of Catwoman and her acting was better. Like Zoe was one of the main characters in the movie. Okay. So I don't know how you didn't like Barry Keoghan's Joker, but it was incredible. Everyone else loved it. This is like unreal to me. And I don't know. By the way, when all said is done, I'm telling you, this kid, Barry Keoghan, he is going to go down as one of the greatest actors of this generation. That guy is going to be winning Oscars like it's nobody's business. You heard it here first. And, he was my favorite in Eternals. He was Druig. He was my favorite of the bunch. And, I don't think at the time people were really talking about his character as much just because, people were not happy with the movie, which, by the way, another movie that I think came out at the wrong time because that movie is great. And also it had a lot of star power in it, but Barry Keoghan, he is fire. And they didn't cast him as Joker to waste the character. We're going to be seeing more of his Joker in the Reeves, the Batman universe. And when we do, I promise you, that's going to be a better takedown of this kid's tweet than mine right now.
Yeah, I agree. This dude's a nut. All right. This is the last tweet of the night. Okay. I blame the trash behind X-Men movies that y'all like for some odd reason for convincing a whole generation that Beast should look like a werewolf by Krakoa. He could even shift his form. That defeats the point of Beast. The heck is this stuff? This is booty cookies. This ain't wrong. This ain't wrong.
Yeah.
I think Nicholas Hoult was terrible as Beast. I'm not gonna lie. I think he's really bad as Beast.
I love a lot of the Fox X-Men movies, but this is definitely accurate on like that being the whole point of Beast.
I 100% agree. I just,
And
I
by the
think that,
way,
yeah,
like you get away with this kind of stuff more because it's Beast. Like you can't change things that significant about Magneto, Professor X, Wolverine, but Beast still is pretty significant, so it did carry some weight, and people did criticize it. And fair point.
yeah, exactly. So, and and with that being said, everybody should be simping over the Beast that we saw in the Marvels. That's how he should look. This guy right here, he's a better Lex Luthor than the Beast. I will say that. It's
Yeah.
more Superman legacy plugging right there. So that is our last tweet of the night. We're going to end the episode here. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell so you know when we post. Just to let you guys know, I'm going to Florida on Friday, so I'm going to be spending the weekend at Disney. So I'll be posting some stuff. I think I'm gonna go get my lightsaber made and get some Hogwarts
Nice.
stuff. So depending on the time I land, that will be the answer to whether we will record Tuesday or not. It all depends on the time I land. So we'll see what happens. All right. So I love you guys. Have a wonderful day and peace out.